Hi guys, for thousands of years, humans everywhere, inspired by living animals or maybe from fossils, have brought mythic creatures into life in stories, song, and work of art. Today, this creature, from the powerful dragon to the soaring phoenix, continue to thrill, terrify, entertain, and inspire us. A mythical, mystical, or legendary creature is a creature from mythology and folklore, often known as fabulous creature in historical literature. Many mythical creatures have supernatural power, which are some good or some evils, that even in contemporary times have no physical explanation. In these cases, the creatures bear more similarities to spiritual beings, such as angels, in religious talk. Often legendary creatures came to symbolize vice or virtues or the power of good or evil. In many cases, their actual existence was secondary to the moral of the tale in which they featured. Legendary creatures have often been incorporated into heraldry and decoration. This is particularly the case with those symbolizing great strength or other power. In contemporary times, many legendary creatures appear prominently in fantasy fiction. These creatures are often claimed to have supernatural power or knowledge or to guard some object or great value. Mythical creatures have been part of human culture throughout the age and across all parts of the world. They are not just the talking creatures, animals able to communicate using language and also rather clever, as in Aesop fables. Mythical creatures are in themselves beyond normal reality, often composite of existing animals or animal and humans. I'll give you an example. Have you ever watched Percy Jackson movie? There are a lot of unfamiliar creatures that have animal characteristics that shown up in that movie, such as Medusa, Satyr, and Minotaur. Based on English Oxford Dictionary, the word mythical comes from the word myth, which means a traditional story, especially one concerning the early history of a people or explaining a natural or social phenomenon, and typically involving supernatural being or event. Our topic for the documentary is about mythical animal. In this video, we'll tell you more about the history and the characteristics of animal creature. A few mythic animals have been chosen, which are unicorn, gorgon, monkey king, and Egyptian cat. The topic is quite interesting because we want the viewers have some knowledge about where it's come from and how the story of this mythical animal had been spread among people. So, let's continue to watch this video.
When we talk about Gorgon, the only thing that comes into our mind is a creature of half human, half snake. According to the Greek methodology, it is mentioned about the three Gorgon sisters, which is Steno, Ariel, and Medusa. We seldom hear about Steno and Ariel, however, Medusa is quite famous even in Hollywood movies. For your information, there is a very tragic story about Medusa that most of us still didn't know about it. Now, let us travel back into the ancient Greek time where all the history began. Medusa was hunted by many warriors who wished to claim the prize of her head. Many tried and many failed, turned to stone by just a glance at hideous face. Medusa was not always considered a monster. In fact, it was quite the opposite. She was the only mortal of three sisters, born of Phorcys and Ceto, two of the primordial sea gods. She possessed great beauty, and many men lusted for Medusa. But out of respect for the goddess Athena, she remained pure, and she would eventually become the priestess of Athena's temple. There were thousands who visited Athena's temple just for a glance at Medusa's beauty. They even claimed that her hair rivaled that of Athena. It wasn't long before Athena's jealousy of Medusa became reason. One day, when Medusa was walking along the shore, she caught the attention of Poseidon, the god of the sea, and he was instantly infatuated with her. Medusa rejected multiple approaches from Poseidon because if she wishes to remain the priestess of Athena's temple, she must stay a virgin. Poseidon was in the middle of a conflict of Athena, and he saw Medusa as a possession that he could take from the goddess. Eventually, Poseidon grew tired of being rejected by Medusa. He decided that he will take her by force. Medusa, in fear for her life, ran into Athena's temple in the hopes that the goddess would offer her protection. There was no protection given that evening, and Poseidon had his way with Medusa. When Poseidon had finished, Athena did appear, enraged by the event that had just taken place. She decided that she would punish Medusa, as punishment against the god such as Poseidon was considered unthinkable. Athena cursed Medusa. The hair she was once so envious, she turned into a head of venomous snakes. Anyone who looked into Medusa's eye would be petrified and turned to stone. Word spread of the monster that Medusa had become, and she became the target of many warriors who wishes to add her head to the list of trophies. All that tried shared the same fate, being turned into stone. Until the hero Perseus, son of Zeus, was tasked with retrieving her head. In order to complete the task, Perseus required aid from the gods. He was given a helmet from Hades that made him invisible to Medusa, a pair of winged sandals from Hermes, allowing him to reach Medusa like a swift wings. Athena gave him a bronze shield able to reflect the gaze of Medusa, and lastly, he was given a sword sharp enough to cut off the head of Medusa. With all these items, Perseus was able to behead Medusa. At the time of her death, Medusa was pregnant with the offspring of Poseidon, and from her severed neck sprung a winged steed, Pegasus. Perseus would use the head of Medusa to aid him in several adventures, and it played a crucial role when defeating the Titan Atlas. Medusa is probably one of the most misunderstood characters in the Greek mythology. She often regarded as a cruel monster. She had only the best intention and put her trust in the goddess Athena that ultimately failed her and punished her for the action that were beyond her control. Through her story, we can tell that even the gods are prone to the sin that they were so heavily pride themselves above. Even in death, Medusa can be seen as a symbol of good, as her head is used as a protective amulet against evil.
Over the course of my journeys, I've been called many things. A warrior. An animal. A trickster. But of all the names I've been called, one has always remained my favorite. King.
Hey everybody, there's a lot of legend, myth and story from the Chinese history, and one of my favorite is the Monkey King, or we known as Sun Wukong. His story is from the literary masterpiece of Journey to the West, and one of the novel of Chinese history. So let me start with the Journey to the West and how Monkey King came to be. The legend starts in the eastern continent on a land known by Superior Body. On top of Flower Fruit Mountain rested a magical rock that has since the time of creation. The magical rock had collected the essence of the heaven, earth and the stars. And the miraculous rock slowly grew a stone egg that bearing a supernormal spirit. Suddenly, the egg burst open, giving birth to a monkey. The monkey lived
among the regular apes and monkeys on the flower fruit mountains. One day, he displayed his courage and wisdom by jumping through the waterfalls and found a special cave behind it. All the monkeys and apes followed him and crowned him as Monkey King. Now we continue the Monkey King journey by knowing his ability. Monkey King, he found a Taoist master and learns magical powers like the 72 transformation which allow him to become anything. He can become trees, stone or any animal or other humans' faces and other things. He also has the ability to fly in 60,000 miles in one somersault. Can you guys imagine that? He also has Jin Dao Cloud for him to ride and travel. His Taoist master named him as Sun Wukong, that meaning awakened to emptiness. His weapon, the staff, is the divine needle that keeps the oceans calm. He takes the staff from the dragon palace in the heaven. Now I will tell you about chaos that he caused in the heaven. He caused chaos at the heaven as he felt very angry because he was not invited to banquet for the Empress Queen Mother while other goddess and god were invited. So he sneaked into heavenly palace, steals the peaches of eternal life, the imperial wine, and the elixir pills of immortality. Then Buddha knows what he do, and the Buddha punished him and prisoned him under the Five-Finger Mountain, where he remained captive for 500 years. Tang Sanzang is a monk of Tang dynasty, was arranged by the Buddha to meet the Monkey King at the Five-Finger Mountain. He needs protection to protect a pilgrim on a journey to the west to retrieve the Buddhist sutras. Sun Wukong offers to serve Tang Sanzang in exchange for his freedom. Buddha sent Guan Yin to release him and provide the Tang Sanzang a golden sacred headband for Monkey King. Throughout his journey, he meets two other guardian brothers and protecting his master from being eaten by the demon throughout the journey. That's all that I can share with you guys. Till we meet again.
Greetings everyone. So today I will talk about the Egyptian cat. So this Egyptian cat is known as the Mau in ancient Egypt. It is spelled as M-A-U. This cat was first domesticated from the Middle Eastern subspecies of the wild cat around 10,000 years ago in the Fertile Crescent. The Fertile Crescent is a crescent-shaped region where human early civilization and also agriculture take place. So there are two types of smaller cat found in the ancient Egypt back then. The first one was the jungle cat, known as the Felis cows, and also the second one was the African wild cat, known as the Felis silvestris libica. So why it is so special? So the first one is these smaller cats were praised for its ability to control vermin and also its ability to kill snakes such as cobras and also viper. So then next one is the Egyptian believed that this cat was so magical they are capable of bringing them good luck to the people who house them, use them as a pet, and also use them as a guardian. And these small cats were also often found underneath women's chair to evoke their fertility and sexuality and also to relieve their stress. And also in ancient pyramid, these cats were found to be mummified and buried along with their owner next to them. So this shows that how valuable and sacred that this ancient cat was back then. Another major point on this Egyptian cat was that it was once worshipped by the Egyptians as the goddess named Bas earlier, and then the alphabet ET was added and later it was called as the Bastet. It was the daughter of Ra and has been associated with the sun and also the concept of all sea. The Egyptian goddess was often represented as the half feline, which is the scientific name called for cat, and half woman, whom they called the Bastet. The earliest feline Egyptian goddess recorded was called as the Mafdet, and it is described in the pyramid text as killing a serpent with a claws, making her one of a fierce predator back then. It is the protector of Lower Egypt, and also she was the defender of the pharaoh. They were worshipped by the Egyptians and also were given jewelry. Her name Bastet was written with hieroglyph on an ointment jar, and the jar was called as a sacred and a protective jar. The image of Bastet were often created from the alabaster. Alabaster is a mineral rock that is soft and it is often used for carving. And this is the picture of alabaster, and as we can see, the top of it is the Bastet and also the hieroglyph writing on it. The cats were so special back then until those who killed them, even by accident, they will be sentenced to death. And also, this cat can be seen as a goddess in many Hollywood movies such as the Mummy trilogy, where it is so sacred until the mummy was afraid of it. And also in the movie Ghosts of Egypt. So guys, even though the cat was so sacred back then, it is proven that people nowadays still love cat like they should be. So this shows that cats were one of the most amazing, cutest and lovable animal around the planet. Thank you.
The unicorn is one of the famous mythological creatures that ever existed. The animal is depicted by being a horse with a single horn in its forehead, and so it was named unicorn, which means it has one horn. This unicorn are characterized as being docile being, but extremely temperamental. Even though they escape any attempt of approachment done by man, the unicorn could be receptive to virgin maidens with a pure heart. This maiden can even touch right them if they allow it. Because of this reason, the unicorn became symbol of purity during Middle Age. Mythological origin is unknown. It does not appear in Greek mythology, but Greek authors write about them in some book. Some of the Greek authors who write them is known as Strabo, Pliny the Younger, Thesis, and others. And this unicorn also mentioned in China, India, and Middle East. But this become known, and the unicorn become popular in the late Middle East and early Renaissance because of the connection of the image of the Virgin Mary, mother of Jesus Christ. Then, during that period, they believed that the spire-shaped horns of unicorn had a magical and can cure any disease. Taking this disadvantage, some of the fishermen do a deceitful thing, which is they deceive sold the fang of normal narwhal as unicorn horn. And because of that, the Queen of England who is the first one to have it, and it believed that it was a unicorn horn. Okay, talk about the Kingdom of England. For the Kingdom of England, that unicorn become a part of the royal coat of arms of Queen Elizabeth II. Nowadays, in pop cultures, unicorn become in the book series of Harry Potter that most of us read about it, and where in that story the Voldemort drink the bloods of unicorn in order to preserve their life. Next, nowadays the unicorn also become among the favorite creatures among the girls who are below 12 years old, and there are lots of toy in the market with a figure of unicorn. But for those who are older than 12 years old, are also with the spell of the unicorn. Thank you.
Based on my finding, some people saw this creature in real life. How is it possible? Do they really exist? Find it by yourself. Do you enjoy this video? I hope you enjoy and learn something new. May this creature continue to entertain our life with their stories. Thank you for watching.